We welcome you here to Long Island. This is the spot for our CAA Game of the Week on Lacrosse TV. The Delaware Blue Hens 5-3, 1-0 in conference so far this season, coming here to Long Island to take on the Hofstra Pride. With that, we welcome you, Travis Eldridge, alongside current member of Cannon's Lacrosse Club, Marcus Coleman. Marcus, this is a matchup between two teams that obviously have expectations to be playing in the postseason here in conference this year. Delaware with very high expectations coming in. This one will be exciting here to see how the Blue Hens handle what is a very difficult weather situation here on Long Island today.
Just the way Long Island lacrosse is, right? Gritty, wet, rainy. It's going to be a tough battle. It always is in this conference of the CAA, and looking forward to a really tough game today.
Well, let's take a look at our players to watch here. We'll start on the Hofstra side of things. John Madsen has been leading the way, 16 goals so far this season, the sophomore from Bayville, New York.
Yeah, Madsen had 2 goals last week in Hofstra's loss to Fairfield. He's a right-handed slasher type player. He can score from up top as a midfielder. He can come from behind the goal as an attackman. He's got a really snappy release. And I also like that Madsen has 11 ground balls. That leads Hofstra's offense. Shows me that he's a hustle type player, and he gets after it down in the offensive end.
On the other side for Delaware, Ty Kurtz is coming off another special game against Hopkins. Led the way with 5 goals, 2 assists for 7 points.
Watching Kurtz shoot is like poetry in motion. You saw it there with that slow-mo replay. And this kid has had an incredible career. And is following that up with a great redshirt senior season. He's 3rd in the country in goals, as you mentioned, and he's climbing the ranks of Delaware's all-time list of points and goal scorers.
Oh, he continues to climb that list. He's actually just 1 point away from second place all-time career points. He's chasing after Randy Powers, who's actually the dad of one of his teammates. Brendan Powers, now a freshman midfielder, a guy who shares the field with Ty Kurtz now. Well, Ty is chasing after his dad on the all-time record book, something we think that he will do today. We assume he will do today, and obviously chasing after Anthony DeMarzo, who is the all-time career leader in points in Delaware history. Starting goalies here today. Akil Akiri in goal once again for the Blue Hens. Matt Gates in goal for Hofstra. We'll get a look at these off matchup as well. 8% is in to make the draw. The Pride comes in at almost 6% on the year so far. On the other side, we'll see Roland Hockenberry take the draw. So it's Hofstra who wins the opening draw. They'll take the first possession. Here is John Madsen, who we talked about here in the open.
Yeah, let's see what Hofstra just gets into here. Obviously, the first possession of the game, you want to get as many touches as possible for the guys on the offensive end, get them comfortable, right? Especially in this rainy weather, you want to get a couple passes with your stick to make sure it's dialed in and broken in.
This is Matt Elder, part of that first midfield unit. He, along with Justin Sykes, as Elder gets his shot, and it finds the back. Just like that, it's Hofstra striking first, 1-0.
I love it. A nice hard dodge down the righty alley and a rollback. Always preaching to your midfielders to try and get to the middle of the field as much as you can. And awesome take there by number 12, Matt Elder.
Elder, a guy who comes from North Carolina, grad student here at Hofstra. The all-time leader in Lake Norman High School history in career points and assists. Well, showing it off there. He's got his 6th goal of the season. Delaware promptly wins the ensuing faceoff, and the Blue Hens will get their first possession here today.
Yep, this potent offense of Delaware, it's going to be fun to watch. They've got skill players all over the field. Their attack is really dynamic with Kurtz, JP Ward behind the goal, and then Mike Robinson as a lefty shooter and slasher on the wing.
Here is Robinson, full head of steam coming across the middle as he shoots wide. Robinson, of course, missed a bunch of games here in the early part of the season due to injury, and you could tell while this offense is still good without him, it is much better when you have Mike Robinson in the lineup.
For sure. Coach DeLuca was singing his praises, not only as a player, but just as a leader. Says that he does all the little things right. He's one of the hardest workers on the team, and he really sets the tone for them in their daily practices.
Here's the midfielder, Jason Kohler, part of this first midfield with Nick Jessen and Cam Accioni. As JP Ward goes to work, jump shot wide. Kurtz there for the rebound. Feeds right back in front. Shot clock starting to wind down. Another shot. This one's wide. There's no backup.
Looked like there was, I think the refs called in the crease there. I think on that feed from Kurtz, there was a Delaware player got pushed in the crease. So either way, Hofstra ball, and they look to clear.
This is a defensive unit for Hofstra that is very veteran. Going across the starting close defensemen, you got Tom Ford, the grad student from Westchester, PA, Tim Haggerty, the grad student from Farmingdale, and Daniel Oakes, the grad student from Syosset. So grad students all around in that starting close defense for the Pride.
Yeah, I bet those guys are going to be soon eligible to probably rent a car.
Yeah, approaching that 25-year-old cutoff.
And that experience down there just helps you with the little things. Communication, that pattern recognition of offenses is probably just, symbiotic with those three at this point.
A shot deflected on its way in, scooped up by the LSM, Cameron McCormick. I'll get it to Kilkiri to help start this clear.
Clearing was a major issue for Delaware last Sunday in their battle against Hopkins, and looks like they're struggling again here with the turnover.
Oh, and Marcus, too, you see that long pass they get forced into. That's hard enough in normal conditions, but with the rain and wind, that just becomes even more of a difficult play.
Yeah, no doubt. You want to just shorten those passes as much as possible, right? We always teach our middies, our defensive players, to just meet the ball, work towards the ball. And we're having a little middle of the field battle here as Delaware takes it right back with a nice over-the-head check on the sideline there, right in front of the bench.
Got a couple of failed clears here early. Now let's see if Delaware, the second chance, is the charm for them, and it is. No problems here. See if the Blue Hens can get something going here on offense. This is a Delaware team you mentioned at the open. Really high expectations coming off the NCAA tournament run last year. Got to the quarterfinals where they lost to Cornell after knocking off 2-seed Georgetown in the opening round. Really the biggest shock of that NCAA tournament last year. As they feed in front, just a little off there for Kurtz. But, you come in with all those expectations. They started the season strong, but once again, honestly, kind of like last year where it felt like maybe they felt like they had some games they kind of let get away from them. And now it's the part of the year where you got to get going in the right direction. You get into conference play and you try to get rolling so that you can do the same thing you did a year ago. Yeah,
Coach DeLuca admitted he was pretty salty on our call after the Hopkins loss. That was a game where they had a lead and weren't able to really put it together in the fourth quarter. And the games against the higher opponents, they've failed to secure victories in those. But as you mentioned, that's why conference play is important, and that's why a tough out of conference schedule can give you some confidence as you head into programs that you're more familiar with.
Yeah, you mentioned that game last week against Hopkins. What a game. I mean, we always joke that lacrosse is a game of runs, but that game legitimately was. Yeah, Delaware scored 8 straight goals, only to then give up 7 in a row on their way to the couple of goal loss, 12-10 last Sunday night.
Game of runs, lacrosse. There's no better game with momentum than lacrosse.
Yeah, that was one for the ages there in terms of runs, as Delaware gets another turnover here and another opportunity for this offense. This is Accioni at the top of the box. Cam and his brother Matt, both part of the midfield unit here for Delaware. This is Nick Jessen, full head of steam, and he shoots wide.
Delaware able to get their hands free and get some shots off early. Kurtz had a rare drop on the crease on that last possession, so we'll see if they can put one on Cage here.
Kohler turns it back. Robinson, so dangerous anywhere he catches the ball. He's got almost unlimited range. Now the quarterback of this offense, it's Ward, who has his man hung up. Got the matchup with Daniel Oakes here at this point. Behind the back shot from Kurtz, just up and over the bar.
I was going to say, if you know, Ward's got two great targets, a righty and a lefty back there to feed.
Here's Kurtz. 4 seconds left on this shot clock. It never reset because they never hit the goalie. That one finally does, but it's right into the stick of Gates, and he starts the clear.
Great defensive stand there from Hofstra. I really like the way number 19, Tom Ford, was approached with his stick out, right? Just put it in Kurtz's gloves, made him, you know, become a left-handed dodger and stayed on that pressure. So Hofstra getting some stops early.
Yeah, Tom Ford, the grad student at a Bishop Shanahan High School in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Was a great basketball player in high school as well. Played 4 years of hoops along with lacrosse.
Great name too. Global icon.
And he goes top shelf. It's Elder again. He's got a pair here, and Hofstra's up 2-0.
Elder showcasing his versatility here. First goal was a rollback lefty, sweep to the middle of the field. Now he just goes down the alley. More of an old school, you know, early 2000s take with the alley dodge, and was able to sneak this in. I'm not quite sure where he put this. He might have snuck it in near side on Kilkiri. Yeah, it looked like it, just right on that right pipe. Really nice dodge.
Elder, his best game to this point this year, a couple of goals against St. John's. He's got 2 already. We're just halfway through this first quarter.
Shoot to get hot, shoot to stay hot.
Got a whistle that'll give it to Delaware here off the faceoff. See Owen Grant, number 81 in blue, All-American candidate, having another stellar year at close defense for this Delaware team. I haven't mentioned him yet. 19 ground balls, 16 caused turnovers here in the first 8 games.
I'm sure he'll make his presence felt at some point. He's a guy that, you know, has PLL potential written all over him, you know, as a professional lacrosse player.
Yeah, already a first-round pick of the NLL by Vancouver. Top 5 pick in the draft as Delaware responds. That is a snipe, top shelf, and it cuts the lead in half. It's 2-1.
Really nice three-man game here. A little pick play behind. You get a nice dodge up to the island. We throw it back. And then you're kind of able at that point to see the rotations of the defense. And Clay Miller just sets his feet on this righty wing. And another near side shot. You can see it there, hitting that top right corner.
Clay Miller, another guy who missed some time due to injury earlier this season. Good to have him back in the midfield, and he finds the back of the net as Hofstra wins the faceoff. And Chase Patterson's had a really good year so far. Both these faceoff guys, by the way, up over 50% this year, but Patterson up there at close to 62%, and he's won a couple of faceoffs here in the early going. And that's something against an offense as high-powered as Delaware that really can work in Hofstra's favor.
Yep. Winning these faceoffs, taking possessions, right? Keeping momentum in your favor, and also stopping runs is very important, as we see a nice save from Kilkiri.
A nice move by Owen Grant. Gets it to Accioni in the offensive midfield.
Yeah, apologies, Travis, if I don't have more information or thoughts on the face-off. For anyone tuning in that was hoping to maybe hear Greg Gurenlian, I cannot provide some technique or
Well,
analysis of what's going on up there.
he's there's a reason that he's the face-off maestro. I guess you could call him the beast. There's nobody that can break down the position quite like him. So no apologies necessary. As Hofstra comes up with the turnover, Oaks comes out of the pack with it. Ford can't keep it in. So once again, you see some of the weather causing some issues. I mean, it is. We did the women's game here that started at noon Eastern time, and the weather started to get bad throughout that game, and we knew that throughout this afternoon it was only going to get worse here on Long Island.
Yeah, no doubt. It's going to lead to some sloppy stick work. Again, just shorten those passes down, right? Try to move your feet towards the ball and support your teammates when they're carrying it up the field.
Accioni and Kurtz play pitch and catch. Accioni trying to work against that short stick matchup. Tough angle shot. And it's wide, and winning that backup is Hofstra. Nice race there by Danny DeSanti.
Love that. Always love a good end line run out. Those effort plays can win you games, from February all the way up into May and Memorial Day weekend.
DeSanti, another veteran piece on the back end for Hofstra. Guy who was a transfer from Army, played 43 games there at West Point throughout his career. Came here to Hofstra for 2020, then with some different military service things that he had to do. He took a couple of years college lacrosse off, now back to finish up his eligibility with the Pride.
I'm sure he loves being back in the locker room with some 17, 18-year-old young bucks.
This is Rory Jones across the top of the box. He shoots it wide. Back up there for the Pride. Yeah, it's always, especially with the COVID year that everybody got, you're really seeing some interesting dynamics with some 22, maybe even 23-year-olds in the locker room and the 18-year-old kids coming in.
For sure. And in my opinion, too, just watching college lacrosse, I just think the talent level and the skill level is at such a premium right now. Like, there's so many good players all across the country. It makes for very interesting television and some really fantastic play.
Oh man, Madsen took a shot there on that one, and I believe we have a penalty. I think we're going to get our first man-up situation of the day. And it goes against Owen Grant.
Yeah, glad Madsen is able to get up under his own power and walk away. It looked like, Grant just came down on that adjacent slide and I think maybe got the wind knocked out of him or hit his ribs a little bit. But those are some of the toughest hits as a shooter when you're coming up the hash like that and you kind of get hit in the back or the side. He'll definitely be that for the rest of the game, I'm sure.
So it's a 1 minute extra man opportunity here for Hofstra. It's an extra man unit, just 27% on the year. Pass a little off, tracked down here by the Pride. They keep it alive. It's Kane. Sykes part of this man up, looking for the skip pass, and it's airmailed.
Yeah, just a little bit too much, trying to do too much there. It's hard to throw skip passes when the ball is stagnant, right? So Hofstra drops a pass, they pick it up. The whole defense is kind of staring at you. It's not really the best time to throw a skip pass. You want to just work the perimeter until the defense starts to move, and then you can throw those skip passes.
Delaware able to clear it, and so now they can kill off what is the final 30 seconds of this penalty. Robinson's just going to play keep away.
And I wonder, too, Madsen, obviously, as the leading goal scorer for Hofstra, him being out on that man up, if they kind of had to rearrange some of their plays or some of their motion there, it might have affected them.
So we're under 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. This is Ryle Shell who sets the screen here for Ward. Ward, tough angle, better save by Gates, who's got a couple of stops here early. Looking to go in transition are the Pride. Unsettled situation, shooting wide.
I love it. Playing fast. We go end to end, save, quick outlet pass. And those are opportunities that I think Hofstra is going to want to take throughout this game, right? Scoring against this defense and Kilkiri, who's been a hot goalie, is going to be tough in the 6-on-6, settled situation. So if you can get that ball up and out, absolutely push transition there.
Elder has the only 2 goals today for Hofstra. Floats it back up top to Sykes. And now Madsen, who's seems to be all right after taking that tough hit. His pass a little off for Jones. Owen Grant trying to track it down, but it comes back to Rory. Taking toward 30 seconds left on this shot clock for Hofstra. It's Colton Rudd working behind the cage. And he has it poked loose. It's Grant on the ground ball patrol. He can go in transition. Always a threat. Grant winds, fires, Gates read it the whole way. And we got a flag down in the middle of the field. Get offsides?
I don't know if it looked like Grant kind of stumbled over his own feet there shooting. So I'm not sure if it seemed like Hofstra was pretty upset, but the flag came from behind the play.
Yeah, it looks like it is on Hofstra. It's Tom Ford who draws the penalty.
Yeah, legal body check. So I guess Grant did get hit there. Those are tough plays to make as an LSM or even a defensive midfielder. You're running full speed and you try to set your feet. It kind of leads to an awkward release point.
Well, what it does is give an elite man-up unit an opportunity. 53% on the year.
Wow. Again, just with balance, right? You have a feeder in Ward. You have shooters with Kurtz, Robinson. Miller is a sneaky cutter and scorer.
And just an elite unit. Yeah, Kurtz here at the top of the box. On the wing, it's Powers. Now Robinson. Robinson way off with that shot, but Ward's there for the backup.
Yep, like the ball movement, right? Just 3-second rule. You get 3 seconds to make a read. If nothing's there, move it on to your teammate. Trying to step into a gap, get the defense to rotate.
Another shot just a little wide. Powers to bring it back in. We're under a minute to go in this first quarter. About 30 seconds still to go on this man-up opportunity for Delaware. Step down shot. Another one just wide. Robinson is there for the backup.
And Hofstra's doing a good job, right? These are the shots you want to give up. You want to give up the 13, 14-yarders. You're going to have to expect your goalie to make a save. There you go.
And there it is. Matt Gates comes up with a stop on Kurtz. And they can hold for one here at the end of this opening quarter. Here on the far wing, Rudd looking for a little bit of space. Time winding down. Turned back by Grant. Just trying to feed it in front. Loose ball scooped up by Delaware. And that's going to do it for the opening 15 minutes. So a strong start for Hofstra. Both their goals coming courtesy of the grad student from North Carolina, Matt Elder. He's got a pair. And the Pride leads after one. 2-1 your score here on the CAA Game of the Week on Lacrosse TV. We welcome you back to a soggy Long Island. Travis Eldridge and Marcus Holman back with you. Our CAA Game of the Week here on Lacrosse TV. Second game of a doubleheader here from Hofstra. It was the Townsend women who came into Long Island and got the win earlier today. Delaware looking to do that, but the Pride with the 2-1 lead after one. However, Delaware gets the first possession of the second quarter.
Yeah, if you're a Hofstra fan, this is exactly the start and the type of game that you want. You want a slugfest, right? Sloppy conditions, slow down this kind of high-powered offense, and we're in for a battle here.
Robinson beats his man, shoots right-handed. That's not something you see real often from the lefty. And Gates comes up with another stop. Had 4 saves in the first quarter. He's now picked up number 5.
Love it. Gates is making all the saves that he should, right? I didn't love that take from Robinson, right? He's kind of on the wrong side of the field. I think get back to your strength and continue to let that ball do the work if you're an offensive player on Delaware.
This is Gerard Kane, part of this starting attack unit with Rudd and Madsen. Hofstra works it around. Back up top to Elder. We mentioned him. He had the 2 goals in the first quarter. The only 2 goals so far today for Hofstra. Now Rory Jones, who draws the matchup with Owen Grant. Here's Elder again. Got a short stick on him.
Yep. Got that switch, right? Expect a slide from Delaware, right? Draw 2. Move the ball as quickly as you can when that double team comes.
Elder, the fake, gets a tough shot off. It's just wide, trying to use his defender as a screen. Just 9 seconds left on this possession clock. Rudd's got to go in a hurry. Feed just a little off, poke free, and Delaware comes away with it. McCormick with that ground ball. Blue Hens, chance to go unsettled. They look down to the doorstep. Jump shot, Ward is off.
Yeah, and those are the types of turnovers, right, down the other end that Coach Tierney is not going to be happy with, right? Short shot clock. You don't want those feeds to go up the field because Delaware is able to scoop up that ground ball on the run and create transition, right? If you're going to make a feed there late in the shot clock, make it going east to west so the ball goes out of bounds on the sideline, and a nice goal there by Delaware.
Yeah, pretty feed, midfielder to midfielder. It's Kohler who finds Accioni, and we're all tied up at 2.
Accioni, not the biggest stature, but a sneaky off-ball player. A nice cut through the middle there. Delaware sharing the ball nicely and finishing.
Yeah, another one of those Canadians that make up a good portion of this Delaware offense. Played his high school lacrosse for Brody Merrill at the Hill Academy.
Making alumni John Grant Jr. proud, I'm sure. One of the best.
Yeah, speaking of junior, honestly, we were talking about this before the game. We were looking at the graphic as Hofstra comes up with the caused turnover here at midfield. Talking about the graphic we showed you earlier about all-time Delaware points leaders. Well, John Grant Jr. is in the top 10 all-time in Delaware career points, and he started his college career at JUCO, so he didn't get a full 40 years at Delaware, and he's still in the top 10. If there's anything that describes the type of player John Grant Jr. is and was, it's that.
No doubt. Always filling up the stat sheet.
Just imagine what he probably could have done in 4 years in a Blue Hens uniform.
Yeah.
A lot of college lacrosse players in that era that are thankful he didn't play 4 years of D1 lacrosse. Here comes Delaware as they get a Hofstra turnover, chance to take their first lead here today. Powers full head of steam here out of the midfield. Powers, shot to score. Brendan Powers, the freshman, with his 7th goal of the season. Just an individual effort. He wraps around the far side. And he's got his first today, and the Blue Hens with their first lead today. Just a really good take from Brendan right here.
Yeah, love it. And it's so funny how lacrosse works, right? A game of momentum. Hofstra's been playing great, like getting a bunch of stops, but all of a sudden Delaware scores in 2 possessions in a row, and now they have a lead, as we move through the middle of the second quarter here.
And there's some confusion here at the faceoff X on it clearly seemed like somebody may have gone early, but looks like we're just going to do it again.
The rare re-face-off.
So here we go. Hockenberry and Patterson, both of them are looking at each other like, what just happened here? And it's Patterson who wins the ensuing draw. Patterson has some space, dishes it off. Long pull chance and a save by Kilkeary.
Wow, great save. I love face-off guys who create offense like that right off the rip. And an awesome take. Like Delaware's going to push the other way too. They have numbers.
Unsettled. They thrive in those types of unsettled situations. He's seen it over and over again with this personnel group with Delaware in the last couple of years, whether it's in transition, unsettled situation, or on scrap plays off of rebounds. Whether it's Robinson or Kurtz, now we've seen Ward do it. They just have guys that can make plays in all those situations. Step down shot just a little wide. Got Marcus's dog all sorts of fired up.
Yeah, he was fired up. He thought that one was going in.
Here we go from behind. It's Ward. Goal almost came off its line there, and Ward just shot it wide.
I actually, on my computer, it actually looked like that hit the bottom right corner, but it was just the goal moving around, I guess.
Maybe the goal being moved around maybe prevented Ward from scoring. Guess we'll never know. There's Nick Jessen trying to back down his man. Now the double team comes, and he's lucky to get it away.
Love the aggressive double teams by Hofstra, making their presence felt. Those veteran defensemen.
Ward, under 10 seconds of the shot clock, has to put it on frame. Can't get it on frame. And now it's Kurtz who's going to, I would assume, just send this to the corner with 3 seconds. And that is exactly what he will do. So, shot clock violation on the Blue Hen. Strong defensive stand for Hofstra. And after a couple of goals in a row, that's got to feel good for the defense.
No doubt. And that was just on display. What Coach Tierney talked about, the other day to us is the turnpike style of Hofstra lacrosse, right? It's gritty. It's tough. The defensemen are going to slash you, right? If you come across the middle, you're going to get a hit. And, they did a great job there on that stop, but
nice job by Delaware in the middle of the field. I mean, look, the Delaware showing the grit and toughness that, has made the CAA the conference that we know and love over the last couple of years. I mean, every game in conference in this league is gritty, tough. You got guys that just will do whatever it takes to win.
For sure. They almost seem like, I feel like, carbon copies of each other. No matter who's playing, you can expect, probably a 1 or 2 goal game, and it's going to be physical. There's going to be penalties. As we see a flag down here on the corner of the field, looks like Hofstra, I think, has too many guys, so they're going to get an offsides call.
You keep them on here just to make sure you don't give up an extra goal. As Delaware will play out this possession. This is an important game, especially for Hofstra, the beginning part of the CAA slate. 0-1 here early in the year after the loss to Fairfield last week. As Delaware learned last year, you fall to 0-2, all of a sudden every game becomes a playoff game. As Kurtz pays the price for trying to navigate a couple of defenders, and now we'll get the penalty.
Yep, Coach Tierney just mentioned the importance of this weekend, right? And just taking it one game at a time in conference, and a win here obviously would be huge for them to get back to 1-1.
Honestly, that was one of the most astonishing things about Delaware's run last year, as you see Dalton Seas go into the box, the short stick D-Midi for the Pride. That was one of the most astonishing things about Delaware's run last year is they started conference play with a couple of losses, and everyone's, you go into the year thinking this team's got the talent, they could compete for a CAA title, and all of a sudden they were playing games that they had to win just to make the CAA tournament at the end of the year.
Sometimes when your back's up against the wall, right, is when you play your best.
Ward, feed in front. Nice stop by Gates. That was point blank, and he comes up with another save.
And Delaware 0 for 2 on man up, right? Gates doing his part, right? You're going to have to rely on your goalie to make a save. Timeout.
It looks like they got it. That's a coach's feel right there for you, Marcus.
Yeah, just
Seth Tierney takes the timeout. We'll take a timeout here as well. Right around the midway point of the second quarter, Delaware with the lead, 3-2 here on our CAA Game of the Week. We welcome you back here to Long Island. A reminder that we've got more CAA Game of the Week action coming for you next weekend. We've got Drexel on the road to take on Fairfield, noon Eastern time here Saturday, April 1st. No April Fool's jokes on you. We actually do have this game, noon Eastern time, next Saturday. Another good one here in the early part of the CAA slate. Fairfield team that didn't quite get as many wins as they would have liked here in the first couple of seasons for new head coach Andrew Baxter. I guess I shouldn't call him new, but one of the newer coaches here in the CAA at least. But this is a team that seems poised for a breakout year, and they came up with the win against Hofstra last weekend, getting off to a good start here in CAA play. And speaking of good starts, Matt Elder is having himself a day. He's got a hat trick for Hofstra, and we're tied at 3.
Huge goal for Hofstra. I was just about to say how big of a possession this was, right? You've had a couple unforced turnovers at that end. You've had a couple failed clears. You really haven't played a lot of offense in this quarter. And out of a timeout, what does Coach Tierney do, right? One of the best plays in the book. Just give it to your hot hand and tell him to run hard and shoot the ball hard. And Elder does that and scores. It's a simple game.
First hat trick of the season for Elder. And it all comes here in the first half as Patterson wins another faceoff. Came in with 5 goals in the year, did Matt Elder. He's got 3 of them in this first half.
Yeah, and I've heard a great coaching quote from the legendary Nick Saban, Alabama football coach, who out of timeouts, his philosophy has always been, right? Think players, not plays, right? And when somebody's got the hot hand, just try to give them the ball, right? Don't worry about a play that you've been practicing all week during practice, right? Give the hot hand the ball and keep it simple for them out of a timeout.
That's a great point. I mean, Elder is, if there's anybody that's been the guy here offensively, it's been him. Here he is again. This one just wide. Yeah, at some point you just go, it's like the old Steph Curry philosophy. If you even can keep making him, just keep giving him the ball, let him shoot. It's the best option on the floor.
No doubt.
Turned back, a shot stopped by Kilkiri. Wore that one right in the chest. Trevor Natalie, the redshirt freshman from Florida, getting some time here.
I really like that dodge from Trevor, getting to a good scoring zone, back to his strong left hand, and I think Kilkiri just ate that one right off the chin.
So the Blue Hens chance to go back in front. Game tied at 3, just under 6 minutes to go in this second quarter. Jessen. He's got that short stick matchup, and they got a couple of steps there in the substitution game, did Accioni, but nice recovery by Hofstra defensively.
Yeah, nice job bumping across, right? When you're man down in those subbing situations, right? Everybody's got to share responsibility of the crease and just pass guys off and communicate.
Robinson down the alley, now sends it behind. JP Ward going to work. He's got a short stick on him. Expect the pull to come help. Back up there for Delaware, and they'll keep possession here. Now there's just 7 seconds left on this shot clock, so Ward's going to have to go in a hurry. Enough time to get something, but you got to go quick. Feed in front. Robinson stops just short of the crease. The loose ball scooped up by the Pride.
And once again, there's another feed upfield at the end of a shot clock, and now you're giving Hofstra a chance to push transition or run sub games and keep your offensive middies on the field. So maybe some better decision-making by, the ex-attackmen on both teams here to help out their defense a little bit.
Here's Sterling Ardrey seeing some time out of the midfield, a guy that you've seen at times, some of the games we've done of Hofstra the last couple of years. He is an electric dodger. I mean, in one of those guys, like we've seen Elder get hot today, when he gets hot offensively, he becomes almost unstoppable as that one's off the side of the cage. Madsen looking for a call. Did he get it? He did. Flag down. So we're going to have a man up for Hofstra here late in this first half.
Who's going to score the first man up goal today? We'll see.
It's Kevin Lynch, the redshirt senior from Maryland, that goes to the box for Delaware. So 6-on-5 for Hofstra. Yeah, Kane here on the near side wing. Top of the box is Sykes. Elder on that far side.
Watch Jones rolling off the crease as well.
Another turnover. This one just steered out of the air by Joe Spears.
Got numbers. Probably smart to pull it out there.
Yeah, that's one of those on a minute extra man. Unless it is the perfect situation, you probably aren't ready to run there and take a shot.
No doubt. 30 seconds might be a different story, but they're smarter than I am.
So we've got about 28. Actually, we are down to about 3 seconds left on this penalty. And it should be released just now. So we're back to even strength here for Delaware. Racing onto the field there is Powers. Ward working from behind the cage. Miller's in there as well. Now it's Robinson from X. Mike Robinson, jump shot, and he finds the back of the net. Mike Robinson with his first of the day, and the Blue Hens are back in front.
It's like these guys can read my minds. I was just about to say, the big three for Delaware has been pretty quiet early on this game, right between Ward and Robinson and Kurtz, and then right on cue, it's Robinson against the short stick. And I'm sure this makes Coach DeLuca happy, is his ability to attack that short stick and get a bucket, without having, to move that ball. And so hard take from Robinson and a well-deserved goal.
Yeah, it's the first goal from that starting attack unit for Delaware that deservedly so. We talk a lot about because of how talented they are. Long pole chance, and that one falls.
Oh, baby.
That'll get him fired up. It's Owen Grant coming down. He's got his third of the year.
We don't have mics attached to the goal, but I think I saw that goal rock back an inch or two on that. That was an absolute bomb from Grant. And earlier I mentioned, right, his ability potentially as a professional defenseman and LSM, that might have been work too, honestly, at the next level. So skill on full display there from Grant.
Yeah, that's big time stuff from the defenseman. Loose ball comes into the Hofstra defensive end. Still loose. Pride finally come up with it. John Retcher, that LSM, helping come up with that ground ball. So we tick toward 2 minutes to go in this first half. Let's see if the Pride responds. So far, you mentioned it earlier, Marcus. So far, this pace and feel of this game certainly fits probably for what Hofstra wants.
Yeah.
This hasn't been a super high-scoring offense. But can they keep pace here with Delaware? Keep this maybe even going into the break?
Yeah, and they're going to need some more guys to get involved, obviously, as we see a nice save from Kilcarry. I think Delaware wants to run again.
Here comes Grant, just scored that goal. He's feeling it. This time he gives it up to Kurtz, and he shoots just wide.
Looks like we're going to have a timeout here, probably from Delaware. But you, again, see Grant scoring on the previous play, and then you have Kurtz there as a point option. It's kind of a pick your poison defensively for Hofstra, but they're able to survive and, got to lock in for another stop.
By the way, with the point earlier today, or just on that last goal by Owen Grant, Ty Kurtz picking up the assist. He's pulled even with Randy Powers on the all-time points list in Delaware history. So continuing to climb up the record books. Next one will put him alone second all-time in career points for Delaware. He's just 10 back of Anthony DiMarzo, who is the all-time leader. You see the updated list there. So I have a feeling that Ty Kurtz may find himself atop a list of some pretty good names. You see the likes of Curtis Dixon, Charlie Kitchen on there. So I think he may find himself atop that list by the end of the season.
Absolutely. And Coach DeLuca in our call this week, right, mentioned he's kind of flown under the radar for his entire career, in terms of national prowess and, rankings, et cetera. He was the rookie of the year in 2019 in the CAA. He's been an all-conference member, and certainly this year has finally, up there with the likes of some of the best scorers in the country. And I just think he's a kid, again, that has professional range on his shot, right? He's a righty. I love the righty Canadians, right? You saw Curtis Dixon on that list. It's always good to see a righty Canadian score. And he's just really had a remarkable career.
Yeah, I mean, Kurtz currently third in the country in goals per game with 4 a clip coming into today.
Yeah.
Picked 17th overall by the Albany Firewolves in the NLL draft. Actually, may have a chance to join his former Delaware teammate Charlie Kitchen there in Albany next year in the NLL.
Love it.
I joked with Charlie if he gave the GM there for Albany a little scouting report on his teammate. And he said, yeah, he said he also wanted to try to get Owen Grant, but apparently he was too good. He got drafted before Albany had a chance. Delaware back on offense, up by 2. So Ward slip for a second. It's been raining pretty consistently here for a while. Jump shot. It's Accioni cashing in with his second, and now the Blue Hens offense has it clicking.
Yep, that's really good team lacrosse from Delaware, right? You saw Ward attacking his matchup, right? 1 or 2 moves behind the cage, and then his technique is so solid, right? He gets the goal line extended. He engages his defender. He bounces away. Eyes are up, and then he's decisive with his feet. It's right on Accioni's ear, and he's able to catch, shoot. Looked like it might have been a high bouncer there, and a nice finish for 45 on his second of the day.
Patterson wins the faceoff, but he pays the price, loses it, however, and now we're going to have a penalty. And it looks like it's actually going to be against Hofstra.
Yeah. Turnpike style right there.
We had the one hit, and then Hofstra came in with the second in, and typically you're going to get the second penalty. That's the case here.
Speaking of penalties, I wanted to take a minute to just give a shout out to Brian Spolina, Hofstra alum, and the all-time leader in penalty minutes at the professional level, and just recently elected into the Professional Lacrosse Hall of Fame, one of the best of all time, a 7-time MLL champion, and a fantastic player in his career.
Yeah, well-deserved recognition coming for him. By the way, actually, a penalty was on Delaware, so it's a man up for Hofstra here. A big opportunity for the Pride. Try to get one back here late in this first half. Skip pass back out top. Across, and a shot wide and high.
Really nice skip to a one more there. Those are going to open up some really good opportunities for Hofstra. Just got to put them on cage and make them count.
Got Elders triggering it in from behind. Another shot that's wide. Elder there for the backup once again. By the way, the penalty goes against Jason Sider. Just a 30-second push. Looks like Hofstra's just going to take their time here with it.
Yep. And it's Elder again. I wonder if he's going to ISO, maybe get a pick.
We're back to even strength. Now Sykes on the near side. As it's stripped away, Blue Hens come up with it.
Big stop there before half.
Yeah, that's big time. And it's the Blue Hens in control here at the break on Long Island. Well, it took this Delaware offense a little bit to get going. However, they start pouring it on at the end of this first half. They score 4 in a row, and they take a 6-3 lead into the locker room here at the break. We'll be back with third quarter action in a bit. But for now, it's halftime of our CAA Game of the Week here on Lacrosse TV. We welcome you back here to Long Island. Start of the second half here in our CAA Game of the Week on Lacrosse TV. Travis Eldridge, Marcus Holman back with you. Delaware with a 6-3 advantage at the break. And Marcus, it really was the end of that second quarter where Delaware's offense just found a rhythm and ended up going from down by 1 at 3-2 to up 6-3 at the break. Yeah,
for a quarter and a half, Hofstra was kind of able to keep them relatively in check. And I still think Hofstra's done a really good job. If you look at the trio of Kurtz, Ward, and Robinson, they only have a goal and 2 assists combined with that unit. So Hofstra's hanging in there. Gates is doing a nice job in cage. He's around 50%. They're facing off at 50%. So it's just a matter of if their offense, outside of Elder, someone's got to step up and get going for them.
Well, Patterson has stepped up at the faceoff X. He's had a nice day so far as he wins a faceoff. And a chance to get this Pride offense back going in the right direction. Remember, they led 2-0. They had those first couple of goals from Matt Elder. Ended up with all 3 goals in the first half. They just got to find somebody else to get going other than Elder.
Right. Madsen, who we highlighted early, has been quiet, but, there's always the second half, and he's ready to step up.
Physical play there by Grant, and he comes up with another caused turnover. Had a goal in the first half. Winds around. He's trying to get one loose, and he's got another. Oh, and wow. Grant with 2 goals today.
This kid's a stud. He's able to do it, obviously, on the defensive end, but, the thing that makes him special is his stick work and his ability to run between the boxes and finish when he gets his opportunities.
Look at that. He's got guys hanging all over him.
All over him.
So he's doubled his season goal total here today. Came in with 2 on the year. He's got 2 today, 4 now on the season. 2-time reigning CAA Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, and he's, again, potentially a first-round PLL pick, in this spring's college draft. You already mentioned he was drafted into the NLL, so a bright professional future ahead for Owen Grant, and I'm sure he still feels like there's unfinished business for him and his Delaware defense.
Yeah, for sure. Sterling Archery has a nice shake, and he shoots wide. But yeah, you talk about Grant as a potential PLL player, and I mean, it's those guys that have the ability to do a little bit of both that really can stand out. Like, he can defend elite stuff at one end of the field, but the ability to go in transition is just a whole nother added level to add to his arsenal.
For sure. The best PLL comparison I could think of is Graham Hosick, who plays for the Archers and plays indoor for Halifax.
Yeah, another Canadian.
Yep.
As that one's picked off. Look out, another opportunity. Coming ahead, and that one rings the bar, but the follow. We got another long pole goal. Joe Spears, he's the one who started that transition chance, and he cashes in.
Looking eerily similar to Grant, right? Both lefties. Spears, I don't think, is as big as Grant, but obviously the stick work on display. He throws a dime to Robinson, and he's like, I'm going to get an assist. Robinson doesn't score. He's like, I'll clean it up myself, and throws in the garbage goal, baby. Love those.
It's like the old wall ball routine. You just play it off the post. Right there, it comes right back to him. So now 5 unanswered goals for Delaware. This was a tie game at 3, and they have just flipped it on its head, coming at the 2:52 mark, the end of the second quarter. So final 3 minutes of the first half, and now the first 3 minutes of the second half has just completely shifted this game.
No doubt, and it's Hofstra's at risk now of letting this thing run away, right? You just got to lock in here. Again, change the momentum, right? You need simple plays to do that. You just need a stop, you need a clear, and then you need a good offensive set after a stop.
This is Cam Accioni, sends it behind. Jessen dancing with it. Now Robinson top of the box. Swings it over to Kurtz. Ty Kurtz still looking for his first goal today. Robinson spins back to his right, trying to get that left hand free. Doing a nice job there is Tim Haggerty on him.
Got to slide to this.
Ward feeds. Kurtz shoots wide. Just slipped out of his stick, it looked like.
And I think that Delaware's offense is just fun to watch, right? Guys attack from different areas of the field. They get a short stick matchup. And then all of a sudden you have to slide quickly because they've moved spots and you're sliding off of Ty Kurtz for a 5-yard step down. Luckily, Hofstra able to get a nice stop, put the ball on the ground, and a clearing opportunity here for them.
Well, you know, the thing that stands out about they're just very unpredictable. I mean,
Yeah.
they have so many different options and different guys who can do different things that you very rarely do you see a bunch of goals throughout an entire game that are all kind of look similar. They all feel different.
Right.
See if Matt Elder can keep up his hot play. It could use another goal from him. Beats his man. Bouncer this time. Kilkiri got it.
I wanted the heat check for Elder. 4 straight.
Instead, it ends up in a possession for Delaware. Yeah. They'll take their time.
And again, right, just objectively watching the two offenses work, right? Hofstra, it's been one and done, which if you're feeling the hot hand, you got to let him work. But the way that Delaware shares the ball, I think you're going to have more, general success, and you're going to wear defenses down with that ball movement and unselfishness.
Ryer Shell takes his matchup behind the cage. Robinson moves it along. That's Kurtz on that far side. Those two guys almost feel like they have a sixth sense of where each other are on the field. Ward. Now back out top. This is Powers. Feed. Shell wide. Ward couldn't quite grab that in the air, but he's there for the backup. And with the shot clock winding down, Delaware's just going to send it to the corner.
Yep, good stop. Nothing fancy. Right, got to get this offense humming here.
Hofstra haven't answered. Likely need somebody other than Matt Elder to score. And they just haven't had a lot of other guys step up yet today on offense. Trevor Natalie here, the redshirt freshman, sends it over to Ryan Sheridan. They're joined by Sterling Archery in this midfield unit. Now Sheridan gets that right hand, but eating it up. Going low for the save is Kilkiri, and a great outlet again.
Yeah, I think I like the take, a little two-man game with Ardrey on the wing, able to get your hands free. I don't love the shot location. It looks like Kilkiri's doing a nice job on these low shots. Be interesting to see if Hofstra can bring one up top, either with a low to high or a high to high release point.
Gates got a piece of that with the save, so it resets the clock to 60 on the shot clock, and Delaware plenty of time to operate again. Blue Hens team coming into today 5-3, 1-0 in CAA play. Beat Monmouth in their CAA conference opener. First matchup between those two as CAA conference foes. Monmouth, Stony Brook, and Hampton being added to the conference here this year. So some new faces for teams like Hofstra and Delaware to face in conference play.
Yeah, and it's going to be weird not seeing UMass in the CAA either.
It already is.
Yeah. But, some new flavors, some new, potential future rivals. That's always fun and exciting. And as college lacrosse continues to expand, you want homes for those new conferences. And there's Ty Kurtz, baby.
He's saying, ball, go to your home. He's got his first of the day. Couple of points for the redshirt senior from Ontario. Now standing alone, second all-time in Delaware career points.
Yeah, just again, just his release is so smooth, and he could shoot it overhand. He loves the low release point. But that one, he's just able to catch, step in, and put that, in that bottom right corner, which is the furthest point from a right-handed goalie's stick.
Oh, and how about that feed from Ward? Like that was like one of those touch passes for a quarterback where you have a guy kind of coming across the middle and you got to kind of hit him, like drop it in right in front of the sideline. It was that kind of touch to go over. He went over another Delaware offensive player, over a couple of defenders, and finds Kurtz.
Yeah. It's obvious, as you said, the 1-2 punch for Delaware, pun intended, was on display there.
So now 9-3 Blue Hens. Hofstra needs something offensively. This is Rory Jones. There's a heck of a battle here with Owen Grant and Kane. Kane just trying to swat it away and ends up all the way in the crease of Kilkiri.
Yeah. I think a loose ball push there on Delaware, just getting a little bit too aggressive on that ground ball.
Yeah. So it'll stay with Hofstra here. No man advantage, just 6-on-6 lacrosse. Officials are talking about something. They're talking about resetting the shot clock. They will to 60.
Yep, change of possession or any reset, that shot clock goes back to 60 from the original 80.
Gonna be honest here, Marcus. Shout out to all the fans that made it out. We got a lot of umbrellas in the stands, but to have some fans there on the far side, that's impressive considering the weather conditions. Those are some diehards.
I mean, yeah.
Colton Rudd wraps around, gives the Hofstra Pride fans something to cheer about. Finally, somebody else is on the board other than Matt Elder. Rudd with his 8th of the year.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure those fans are ecstatic. Finally, someone else getting on the board, and Hofstra breaking that scoring streak here. About halfway through the third quarter. This is just a nice hard take. I like the way that he leans his shoulder through, takes the extra step. All right, and a nice finish on the off-stick side on Kilkiri. And, Long Island lacrosse fans are some of the best in the world, no doubt. Some would argue it's the home of lacrosse. I would argue that's the great state of Maryland, and specifically Baltimore. But open for debate.
No, we had that discussion during the first game of our CAA Game of the Week doubleheader when we had Baltimore versus Long Island and Towson and Hofstra women battling. Obviously, two of the great spots for lacrosse in this country is Hofstra wins a faceoff. Chance to maybe string a couple together here. By the way, I don't know if I've seen a 0-0 in college lacrosse, but that's what Trey Parks rocks here out of the midfield for Hofstra.
Love it. Always think back to Gilbert Arenas, Agent 0. Davey Amela rocking 0.
Yeah, but they were single zeros.
Single 0, yeah.
This is a 0-0.
Go to work.
Yeah,
go to work.
Parks, the freshman from Wilmington, North Carolina. He's looking to stand out, make his mark. Rory Jones tracks down the loose ball. He shoots, but Kilkiri is there again. He's been good in the second half so far.
Yep. Just making the saves that he should make. Again, it just seems like a lot of those Hofstra shots have been in the similar location, right? Kind of his 5-hole area. And he's doing a nice job getting down there, sprawling, and making those low saves.
And Kilkiri now, his stat line, 4 goals against, 8 saves.
Yep.
That's one that'll make goalies smile. So we tick toward 5 minutes to go in this third quarter. 9-4 Delaware leads in our CAA Game of the Week on Lacrosse TV. Travis Eldridge, Marcus Holman with you. A rainy, cold, windy day on Long Island as Ty Kurtz has it kicked away by Matt Gates.
Nice save by Gates. You can see Kurtz, right, just starting to warm up, getting open. Ward is really kind of dealing right now in those big little situations behind the cage. Delaware's been comfortable to just go to these big littles, right? These pick angles are really advantageous for an offense. They're hard to defend. You have the goal in the way.
Oh, and he just draws so much attention. You know what he can do.
Yep.
But they also have a couple of guys on the outside that can beat you in a lot of different ways. Nice read. And that pass is stolen here by Hofstra.
Got numbers, hit the trailer.
Tom Ford, the feet down on the doorstep. Kilkiri keeps it out.
Oh, that's a robbery. Might have numbers the other way, too. Reverse transition.
McCormick pushes it ahead. Wine fire, and it's Ty Kurtz. Transition back and forth, and it's Delaware who adds another, the second of the day for Ty.
That's a huge, huge momentum swing there. Right? 2-goal swing for Hofstra. Kilkiri with the high save inside, and then Kurtz catch and shoot. He's like, I'll show you how to get it done. Just too much room. He's got that range from 15, 16 yards that just not a lot of college players have. And that's why I do think he has potential to play at the next level in the PLL, right? Coaches love that 2-pointer, and it's such a difference maker, on the offensive end.
Well, and watching him over the last couple of years, it's also the release points. He really keeps a goalie kind of on his toes. You have to be on your toes if you're a goalie when you're seeing his shots, because he can shoot at the sidearm, he shoot it kind of underhand, he's got the overhand releases, bunch of different ways he can release that ball.
For sure.
Colton Rudd just got his first goal of the day a couple of minutes ago, but got a whistle, and it's a violation on Hofstra. We'll go back the other way.
Might have been somebody in the crease. Not quite sure.
Just like inadvertently walking through.
Yeah.
Comes Accioni. So 10-4 Delaware. And in some ways, this game, in terms of the slow start for this offense, kind of feels like it did last week against Hopkins last Sunday, where the offense took a while to get going. And once it did get going, it caught fire.
Yeah, no doubt. They're able to score in waves because they can score in transition as well. That's kind of the added threat to this Delaware team.
Loose ball scooped up. Nice save by Gates, and he covers up.
Isn't it funny how, we mentioned Kurtz in the opening, right? He's a goal scorer. He's a shooter. Like, those players just end up with the ball in their stick, right? On that one, he's floating around. It's a bad pass that skips through the defense, and it just ends up right in his stick. And he's, a couple inches away from scoring his third goal. But, Gates did a nice job reading that one. I think, if I'm guessing, Kurtz's next shot is going to be coming low to high, because I think that's 2 or 3 in a row that have been low. I would imagine him changing up that next shot.
Another turnover that's scooped up, and a chance to go in transition here. Owen Grant already with 2 goals today. This time he gives it up, and Kurtz just misses.
And he didn't listen to me. He shot low. Bring that thing low to high. Come on. We know you want to.
Yeah, you know what? If he would have listened to you, he might have found the back of the net.
Yeah.
Going for his hat trick.
Just another quick possession by Hofstra and a turnover right? Just going to need some more sustained possessions here to threaten that Delaware defense.
Really pressing out here defensively is Hofstra, trying to see if they can create a turnover. Nick Jessen with it on the wing. Kurtz just taking his time. Just so calm, even with the long pull up in his hands. Nice dodge by Ward. He tosses it back up top. Robinson now. Trying to get that ball back to his left. Scooped up at first by Delaware. And now it's in the crease. And I think we're going to have a penalty.
Yeah, I think Robinson on that face dodge, just getting to that pressure point of the defense. A slide comes probably a little bit high. Yeah, I'm seeing a cross-check reference from the referee.
So Delaware team that probably doesn't need to be man up, going to go man up again. It is a cross-check. So another golden opportunity for Delaware here in the final minute of this third quarter. Leading by 6. You're just joining us. This was a 3-3 game with about 3 minutes to go in the first half, and Delaware has just taken over offensively. Robinson, Kurtz, everybody getting a touch. Man up unit up over 50% coming into today. Robinson stepped down. Somebody got a piece of that. Never got through. Loose ball, though, scooped up by Hofstra. Coming away with it is Retcher.
Great eat by Hegarty there on defense. You could see 43 and white limping, hobbling. But Hofstra just not able to clear.
Delaware gets it back. 18 seconds to go here in the quarter. Robinson hits the hidden ball trick. The goalie had it. The defense was fooled. Ward tracks it down. 7 seconds. Good luck.
Oh, my gosh.
Powers has it stopped by Gates.
He's just locked in. He's doing his job.
Oh, a couple of big saves by Matt Gates at the end there, the third quarter, keeping Delaware off the board. But It was a big third for the Blue Hens. They lead by 6, 10-4 your score. Fourth quarter on the other side, the CAA Game of the Week on Lacrosse TV. Back here on Long Island, a rainy, cold day, but it's not cooling off this Delaware offense. They caught fire toward the end of the first half, and they've got a 10-4 lead as we start the fourth quarter. Travis Eldridge, Marcus Holman back with you here on Lacrosse TV, CAA Game of the Week from Schuart Stadium in Hempstead, New York. Blue Hens looking to get to 2-0 here in conference play. The Pride, they need a big fourth quarter if they want to avoid going 0-2 to start CAA play, as that ball is out of bounds. Last touch by Delaware.
And a good start there with the face-off win, right? Nothing's impossible here. We've seen crazier things. Got to just keep digging, right? Attack the short stick matchups. Would love to see Madsen get involved. He's been pretty quiet today. I don't know if that hit maybe earlier in the game kind of, jolted him, and he just hasn't been comfortable. We haven't seen him up too much out there either.
This is Colton Rudd going to work. Now Sterling Archery trying to get himself going here today. Has had a couple of nice runs, but still no goals as Kilkiri read that one the whole way right into his stick. So another stop by Kilkiri and Delaware. Kilkiri put together a nice day. Now up to 10 saves, just the 4 goals. Will help the save percentage. Came in up over 52% on the year so far.
Yeah, and again, we've talked sloppy turnover there.
Unforced error,
yeah. We obviously we highlight the offense because that's what we all love, right? Lots of goals scored, but Delaware defensively is 11th in the NCAA, right, in their scoring defense. So, they have what it takes on both sides of the ball. Nice ride back. Oh my gosh.
Open goalie just missed it. Matt Gates was way out of the cage and just off.
I think that was Robinson trying the floater from the midfield line.
That's the old empty netter in hockey, just trying to float it down there and make it fall in and just off the edge.
And I kind of respect it, right? A kind of an unwritten rule that I have as a coach and a player is like, if you get a ride back, you create a turnover like that, like you have the risk to try and make a play. It's like
you kind of earn that.
Yeah.
You earn that ability there.
I like to think too, like if you're in the offensive end and you draw a foul, like, your teammates should get you the ball and you should be able to kind of get to the rack if you want.
Hofstra trying to get something to the rack. I mean, we had the 3 goals from Matt Elder in the first half, and then the 1 here from Colton Rudd in the second. That's it.
Yeah, and the point that I made earlier, we really haven't seen Madsen. I wonder if he's out of the game because of injury. Awesome take there.
Colton Rudd coming up with another. He's got 2. The Georgia native.
There we go.
Getting Hofstra back to within 5.
Rudd just getting to his left hand with a speed dodge here, and this is incredible form. All right, big little pick here, going hard. Just enough on the pick there to free his hands, and he's able to finish with an overhand shot to the far pipe. Finally, a high shot from Hofstra. I've mentioned that earlier with the scouting report, maybe on Kilkiri is he's gobbled everything up low. So nice to see Hofstra change it up there and get a goal and down 5.
Well, you talk about changing it up too. We've seen a rotation of different guys that Hofstra is trying. So this is not for a lack of trying some different options. They just haven't found the right combination yet, you know?
Yep. And Coach Tierney mentioned that in his call, right? It's, guys that step up are going to get an opportunity to play. And, if guys aren't performing, he's willing to go to his bench.
And speaking of performing, there's another one for Delaware getting on the board again. Well, getting on the board for the first time today is JP Ward. He's got a goal to go along with a couple of his assists.
Yeah. Dating back to last year, I think JP Ward is such a fundamentally sound player, right? Hailing from Maryland, he squares up his defenseman here. He's two-handed. He plays behind the goal. He reminds me a lot of Logan Wisnauskas, right? Kind of a similar stature, a lefty, wears number 1. And just really having a great season and a great career at Delaware.
Yeah, he has really turned into a stellar quarterback of this offense, taking over for Charlie Kitchen. And Ben DeLuca talked about the year where JP Ward was behind Charlie Kitchen as part of this offensive unit. And Charlie obviously was able to kind of teach JP Ward a lot about this offense, how he ran it. And also in hearing Coach DeLuca talk about JP Ward, he was eating up their defense at times in practice. So they knew they had something special when he came back for his next season.
For sure. And that's always a great combination. As a coach, that's what you want to see, right? From your culture is younger players learning from the upperclassmen and then obviously filling in their shoes once they move on and graduate.
Colton Rudd with the backup here. 4 minutes into this fourth quarter. Hofstra trying to get back within 5. Working,
Ooh.
diving, and scoring.
Count it.
What a take by Trevor Natalie, his 4th of the year.
Just a great individual effort here, right? As an attackman or a midfielder dodging from behind the goal, always in your benefit to get up to that island position, right? Which is 7 yards wide of the goal and 7 yards above it. From there, he's able to kind of see the defense roll back. And it was go time at that point because he had Owen Grant on a double team right behind him, trailing in. And then I'm always a fan of a crease dive, selling out.
Got to go for it there. That's exactly what he did. Face-off win here for Delaware. And they'll be able to take their time with it a bit here. Powers has it on the far side. He's got a goal today, his 7th of the year. Now J.P. Ward wrapping, bounce shot, high and wide, but the backup is there.
Looked like he might have had Powers on a skip through there.
Shell gets forced back. Ward just able to pick his poison.
Yeah.
He's got Clay Miller on the doorstep. It was just that 1 second of hesitation there for Hofstra defensively, and Ward makes him pay.
Yep. And Shell doing a great job, number 25, of carrying that double team and throwing the ball back to Ward, right? It might not show up in the stat sheet, right? But I guarantee you in the film session on Monday, right, Coach DeLuca is going to highlight that, saying that's the type of team offense we love, right? He's able to draw a double, kick it back to Ward. And then the reason those big littles are so, in favor of a great feeder is because it just drags 2 defensemen behind the goal, and Ward's able to make that read a little bit easier. And then obviously Miller on the dunk. That's really pretty team offense from Delaware.
Another face-off win here for Delaware, and they can keep pouring it on. Couple goals for Miller today. He's now up to 9 on the year. Yeah, J.P. Ward quietly has now put together a 4-point performance. He leads all scorers today.
Yeah, he's in the second half, he's definitely playing with a little bit more pep in his step, right? He struggled Sunday night against Hopkins, was really kind of shut out.
Powers beats his man, and he puts it home for his 2nd of the day.
Floodgates are officially open for Delaware.
They just have it moving.
They just know exactly what they're doing, and Powers and Ward on the big little, but sometimes you don't need a pick, especially with a short stick. You have the optionality as a Dodger back there to just square your guy up, and that's tough it's the toughest position in lacrosse, right? Is short stick defensive midfield. So if you're Hofstra, you've got to have someone ready there to help out and support, and they didn't.
So it takes this to the largest lead of the day, now at 7 for Delaware. Ground ball. Had a chance at it. There did Reed Kurtz. We get the timeout? No, it's just out of bounds, and it's Hofstra ball.
Sorry, that was, again, my coach speak.
When you're calling timeout in your head, you're like, timeout.
I don't think – good hustle from Hofstra there. I don't think the Delaware player ever had possession, which you've got to have possession of the ball under your opponent's box to call a timeout. Oof. Oh my gosh.
Great check. It's Owen Grant again.
Who else?
I think whoever that offensive player for Hofstra was had his stick under his elbow or like in his armpit there, and I think that's what the call was.
Yep.
But Owen Grant, he's everywhere. 2 goals today, caused turnovers, does it all.
Ground balls.
Yeah, now officially 3 ground balls, 2 caused turnovers to go along with his 2 goals.
That's like almost a triple-double, I'd say. Like you get 3 in each. Does that count?
Ward moves it along. Robinson stings the corner. Now they're all falling.
Yep. And that's probably where Robinson is at his best. And again, another guy that has potential to play at the next level with that range. And this is the Delaware offense just at its finest, right? You attack from behind. You've scored a couple goals back from behind there, so the defense hedges down. You swing the ball up top, and then you're able to attack and approach and get to your sweet spot and then put it home.
Yeah, I think the thing with Robinson that maybe can be deceiving sometimes is he's not a gigantic guy, 5'10", 170. So when you
Yeah.
usually think of a guy with that kind of shooting range, you think of a bigger, maybe bulkier midfielder, but that's not him. It's just his stroke is so fluid.
Yeah. And he has that range, like I said, from 12, 13 yards. He gets to that left hand. It's a tough sledding there for any goalkeepers.
Yeah. Got that kind of Mac O'Keefe type build.
Yep.
Colton Rudd wrapping around. He shoots wide.
Now you see Hofstra going back to the big little too, kind of giving Delaware a little taste of their own medicine. Rudd's been efficient from that position today.
Natalie got that last goal. He and Rudd combining for the 3 goals here in the second half for Hofstra as we're past the midway point of this fourth quarter. Tell you what, we talk about the new CAA for Hofstra. Is you got a takedown. Natalie into the turf. We've got a flag down. And we will get a man-up opportunity here for the Pride. Natalie slow to get up. Try to walk it off and try to stay in this game. But talk about the new look CAA here for Hofstra. It adds in. You talk about developing new rivals. They've got an already rival that they just had come in as Stony Brook joins the fold. That is going to be a fun finale to the regular season, the battle for Long Island in the conference.
No doubt. Those teams have played forever, right? The Battle of the Turnpike, so many fantastic players. Palinetti's there now for Stony Brook and guys that have moved on to the next level. Like we said, just so many talented players coming off the island, as professionals. And that'll definitely be a rivalry we'll have to kind of keep tabs on as now they're official conference foes.
Yeah, that's going to be a whole lot of fun. By the way, not one, but 2 flags. So this is a 6-on-4 for Hofstra.
Try to keep it simple, move the crease, and then you got to can a shot here from 10 yards.
Rudd at the top. Now Sykes. Kane, step down, shoots wide.
And oddly enough, you'd think 6-on-4. Well, that's easy. They'll score every time. These are scenarios that you don't practice that much, right? So your normal plays that you would run against a 6-on-5 kind of get scattered and skewed.
That's a good point. As one of the penalties released, so we're back to 6-on-5 now. Sykes has it top of the box. Kane down low, Grace pass, and a great catch and score by Elder. He's got 4.
Really, really awesome skip pass. Looking great patience there from Hofstra. You saw Kane take a shot early in that possession, shooting wide, right? 1 penalty releases. They don't panic. They don't force a shot. Everyone's kind of playing in their own game. Elder, I love the way he shows his stick there on the back pipe, right? Create a visual target for your teammate. And even though the pass was a little bit high, right? Elder's stick is already up there. So he's able to receive that pass, quick stick it in there and finish.
Gerard Kane picking up his 10th assist of the year. First assist today. First point of the day for him, the sophomore from Georgia. Trey Parks back in there here on offense for Hofstra.
Going back to that big little, right? Create some confusion with the pick play, draw a slide.
There's the double.
Oh,
and Grant comes over and just makes another big play.
Just such impressive timing on that 2 slide there. And then he has the strength and physicality to just not only arrive, but, put somebody on their back and then pick the ball up and just clear it himself. He's been as advertised today. He's been very impressive.
Just such, I mean, that play shows you just what kind of feel he has for the game. I mean, he knew that that's where the ball's going to go. He times it perfectly and makes the play.
Yep. And that's just, pattern recognition. It's film study, right? And it's that innate aggressiveness that you want from your defenseman.
JP Ward skipping it back out. He had Kurtz there for a second. Now Kurtz picks it up. Down to under 5 minutes to play. JP Ward continues to be the conductor to this fantastic orchestra on offense for Delaware.
Good defense. Really nice defense there by Hofstra and number 19, Robinson, on the approach. Right, stick out, not over anticipating. He's able to control Kurtz, but Hofstra just can't take advantage of the stop, and they give it right back in the clear. That's a tough one. Under 4 minutes to play now. I think Delaware is going to be content to kind of just run the shot clock out. Maybe attack, under 20 seconds.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're going to do.
Yeah. And then obviously you don't want feeds upfield. You don't want to create any transition opportunities for Hofstra, as this game is pretty much out of reach for the Pride.
Take this under 3 minutes to play here. Robinson going one-on-one. Now Ward moves it along to Kurtz. Top of the box, Jason Kohler. Feed in front, jump shot, and it falls. Clay Miller's got himself a hat trick.
And that will make any coach happy. You look at the shot clock, 17 seconds. That's essentially a perfect possession for Delaware, right? They've been running their big little all game. They get the ball up top. You attack from a different angle. Miller is a really good cutter, right? Just watching him today and thinking back to last season when we covered a couple games for Delaware, he does a really nice job of just slicing through and timing up those cuts and then catching and burying the ball.
I was going to say, too, I mean, he's got 3 goals, actually leads Delaware in scoring today. But, I mean, it almost feels like it's a quiet 3 because there's other guys that have made more noise, but he's the guy that's got the most goals.
Love those guys, right? They all count for 1, right? At this venture, right? At the pro level, right? Some might count for 2, but they all count for 1, and it doesn't matter how they go in. It doesn't matter how they look, right? All that matters is they show up in the stat sheet after the game.
By the way, also highly efficient. He's scored 3 goals on 3 shots. It's another thing that'll make Coach DeLuca happy.
No doubt. And his teammates that are feeding him the ball.
That too.
Grant, look out.
Turnover. Here we go. He's already got 2. He thought about it. And Delaware content. Eat some more time off this clock and take this thing under 2 minutes to play.
I'm sure you could probably hear the yellow, yellow, yellow chants.
15-7 Blue Hens as we tick toward under 2 minutes. Miller, we're just singing his praises and having it slip out of his stick.
I think that was a poke check there. The old poke check, baby. Defenders, please play with your stick out in front of you. It is just my pet peeve, right? You got that thing. You got an extra 6.5 feet to use on your stick. Put it out, throw a poke check in there, and get a cost turnover.
Delaware gets it back, though. Kurt scoops up the loose ball. And he'll take his time again. So a slow start for Delaware. Hofstra has scored first. This game was tied at 3 with 3 minutes to go in the first half. And from that point on, all Blue Hens offensively.
Yeah. And
I mean,
the bounce back game that as a Delaware fan you hoped for, right? You could kind of sense from Coach DeLuca that they were pretty salty after that Hopkins loss, a game that they, thought they should have had. And a slow start. Hofstra was able to kind of hang around there, but just not enough firepower, I think, for Hofstra and consistency across the board for them, to be able to put up, 12 or 13 goals like Delaware was.
It was Mike Robinson who started that 6-goal run the end of the first half, and it's going to be Delaware has a chance to run out the clock here, at least close to it. Down to 14 seconds left on this shot clock. And Ward just going to eat this one.
Yep.
So 23 seconds left. Hofstra one more chance. Pride going to drop to 0-2 here in conference, 2-7 overall. Certainly not the year they were hoping for. And I thought you can get the wins back-to-back against Long Island and St. John's might get things going in the right direction, but this will be their 4th loss in a row. As it was a pretty good game for Matt Elder, who has it now, but not enough offense. And it's Delaware celebrating 15-7. Your final, the Blue Hens 2-0 here in conference and 6-3 overall.
Yep, and just a total team effort, right? Kilcary was solid in between the pipes. You have Grant running transition and 2 sliding and, taking bodies on that end. And then the offense just really just impressed with their ability to share the ball, right? The premier players are doing what they do well, but then those complementary guys like Accioni and, Clay Miller, who had a hat trick. Yeah, like those guys just play so well off of them. And, that you could tell that their chemistry is really there, and just an impressive day for them.
Yeah, they really put it all together. This is when you thought about this Delaware team coming into the year. This is the type of performance you thought. Got good goaltending, great play defensively, and the offense puts up 15 goals, all leading the way to a 15-7 win here on our CAA Game of the Week. Well, we'll be back here noon Eastern time next Saturday. We'll come to you from Fairfield, Connecticut, as the Drexel Dragons make the trip up to take on the Stags. But for now, that's going to do it for us here from Long Island. For Marcus Holman and our entire crew, I'm Travis Eldridge. We say so long, and thanks for watching the CAA Game of the Week on Lacrosse TV.